Welcome back to another episode of the Growth Now Movement, and I wanted to sit down with you guys for another solo episode that I haven't done in a couple weeks, but I wanted to share my experience with 75 Hard. So if you follow me on social media, or if you've even heard me mention it a couple times on this show, that the beginning of the year I committed to 75 Hard, which is a program designed by Andy Frisella. And for those who don't know what it is, I'll break it down for you. It is 75 straight days where you have to check off a number of tasks every single day. And those tasks are 2 45-minute workouts. One must be outside. And I'll reiterate that by saying I live in the Northeast, so the weather was extremely cold during this time. You have to drink a gallon of water every day, read 10 pages of a business or self-help book. You have to take a progress photo, no cheat meals, and no alcohol for 75 days straight in order to go through the 75 Hard challenge. And, really approaching it, I went in because I had these limiting beliefs around my life when it came to my fitness, my health, my nutrition, all that stuff. And what I realized was, as I started to break down at the end of 2020, what is it about my wellness? What is it about my physical fitness that I couldn't master this skill? And I really dug deep, and I was like, where does this thought process come from? Why was I the yo-yo dieter? Why couldn't I get super physically fit? And I realized that these are limiting beliefs that I carried my whole entire life, ever since I was 12 years old. Now, keep in mind, I'm now 36 years old, and I said on my social media post that it was time to quiet the voice of my 12-year-old self. And here's kind of where these limiting beliefs came from for me. When I was 12, I broke my first hip, and it took me out of sports, and I really started to gain some weight. I wasn't physically active, and then the doctor was saying, hey, you'll probably never be an athlete. You'll probably never be physically fit. And I took those words, and I took that as forever. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I can't ever be physically fit. And obviously, being a yo-yo dieter, there were moments in my past where I would lose weight, but then I would self-sabotage, right? I'd start to eat poorly or start to drink a little bit too much and celebrate and do all these things, and then I'd put the weight right back on. And what I wanted to do with this challenge, beyond just getting fit, was to really overcome those limiting beliefs. So one thing I truly believe about limiting beliefs is that we have to get uncomfortable in order to break the cycle of those beliefs. So we all have some sort of limiting belief, whether it's I can't be rich, I can't be in a healthy relationship, I can't be good looking, I can't be whatever, right? We all have these limiting beliefs, and they come from somewhere. It could be I'm too shy, so I can't be a public speaker. I'm not a good writer, so I can't write a book. I'm not good at speaking, so I can't do a podcast. All of these limiting beliefs that we have, they come from somewhere, right? So there's a story that I like to share, not based off of facts, but something that has happened to many, many people. So say, there's this little girl, and she's 5, 6 years old, and she's in the mall with her mom, and her mom's walking down the way in the mall, and she runs into an old college friend. And in the excitement of the mother being like, oh my gosh, Mary, how are you? It's been so long since I've seen you. Her little daughter, Sarah, the 5 or 6 year old, ducks behind her mom's leg because she's like, oh my gosh, I'm a little shy. And what her mother says is, oh, that's just Sarah. She's shy. And even in that easy little moment in life, Sarah then goes, I'm shy. And she holds on to that limiting belief forever. And as she gets older, she gets put into school and she has to do public speaking, but she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so shy, I can't do it. Or she gets the job and all of a sudden she's got to do a presentation for her boss, and she's so nervous because she was told that she was shy and she can't present in front of people. Something as simple as that incident can create those limiting beliefs. And those are things that we carry. And the longer we carry them, the harder they are to break away from. And so I really believe in getting uncomfortable as a way to break through these limiting beliefs. So you better believe me committing to 75 days straight of these checklist things, the 2 45-minute workouts, the gallon of water, the 10 pages, all that stuff was very, very uncomfortable for me. For most people, even the people that are already people who work out every single day, this is something that pushes them, right? And so I said I want to commit to this, not only to get fit, but I want to commit to this to break through this limiting belief that I can't be an athlete. And so starting on day 1, January 1st, I started saying I'm an athlete. I am an athlete. I was literally saying this out loud, and it sounded ridiculous, but I really believed it. And I began to train like an athlete with boxing workouts and HIIT workouts and lifting and long walks and all of these things that I was really in the mindset of I'm an athlete. And yes, over the 75 days, I had the physical benefits of working out and doing all these things. I lost 30 pounds. I started to see some abs, which is kind of weird and crazy. And, my biceps are bigger than they've ever been. And this was great, right? I'm physically fit. I'm an athlete. I can lift heavier weights. I can walk further. I can do all these things. And I've done those great things. But the important part of what I learned in 75 Hard is, yes, I got physically fit. Yes, I look better. Yes, all of these things, right, that we want in our life. But I overcame the limiting belief that I couldn't be that I couldn't be the athlete, that I couldn't be physically fit, that I couldn't look good in smaller shirts, that I couldn't, do all of these things. And when we break through those limiting beliefs in our life can change for the better, right? And this last weekend, I hosted an amazing retreat with 10 amazing human beings who attended, and it was wonderful. And I feel like me being in that person who now says, I can conquer all things, I led that retreat better than I ever could have. I feel like I'm stronger in my relationships. I feel like my confidence is better. And when you break through these limiting beliefs in your life, whether it's something as simple as, hey, I'm a little too shy to do a podcast, or I've always been told that I'm going to be overweight or not physically fit, and you got to do these things, I challenge you to get uncomfortable. Get out there and do something to challenge yourself. Get uncomfortable. Be a little afraid in the actions that you're taking. Sure, it was scary for me to say, hey, I'm committing to this 75 days. What if I fail? But it was more important to me to say, I am better than the limiting beliefs that I started when I was 12. And so my 36-year-old self finally told my 12-year-old self to shut the hell up and own your life. And I realize as I talk about these 4 pillars more and more about the podcast, which is your business, your wellness, your spirituality, and your relationships, I was missing that wellness piece to a certain point. Was I healthy? Yes, I was healthy, but I wasn't fit. I wasn't athletically fit. I wasn't right in the mindset when it came to that stuff, and I was able to fix all of it in these 75 days. I'm about 80-something days in at this point, and I had my cheat meal, and I'm right back to it, right? Today is a day that I've worked out twice. I'll drink my gallon of water. I'll read my 10 pages because I am an athlete, and I will put in the work that I need to put in to be my best self every single day. And so I challenge you to get uncomfortable. I'm not saying go do 75 hard, but what I'm doing is I challenge you to get uncomfortable, to overcome the limiting beliefs that you've created in your life or somebody else has created for you, and get uncomfortable and change the narrative that you keep telling yourself, because you are great. You are amazing. And if you choose growth every single day, you're going to reach new heights in all areas of your life. And I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me and talking about 75 Hard. I'm a huge fan of it. So thank you to Andy Frisella, who, by the way, is coming back on the show. But thank you to Andy Frisella for creating this great challenge for individuals to level up their confidence, level up their ability to overcome, and really tackle the world. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and I'll see you next week.